Salutations, dear audience. Prepare to be inspired and empowered as we delve into the realm of business triumph on Elevate Your Business. I'm Ed Jarecki, your host for today's enlightening episode. Thank you for being part of this enriching experience. Our show is dedicated to enlightening and equipping business owners, professionals, and aspiring entrepreneurs like you with essential knowledge and insights from experts who've achieved success in their life and business. Today's guest exemplifies this mission. So make yourself comfortable, grab some coffee, and let's extend a hearty greeting to our incredible guest today, Pasha Esfandiary. Pasha transitioned from being a professional poker player to becoming a pioneering force in real estate, amassing close to $350 million in deals since 2011. His journey highlights his self-made success, resilience, and the importance of emotional intelligence in business and personal growth. In 2021, he launched Evoke Capital, an innovative mobile home community venture managing over 2,150 units with a people-first philosophy, balancing tenant welfare and investor returns. As Pasha joins us on the show, he'll shed light on what success means to him personally and how his definition has evolved over time, as well as one or two of his top challenges and the lessons learned associated with them. And finally for today, we'll explore how Pasha has leveraged innovation in his business and other work to overcome challenges and achieve his goals. So join me in welcoming Pasha Esfandiary as we embark on another incredible episode of Elevate Your Business. And without further ado, Pasha, it is wonderful to have you on the show. Great to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
I very much appreciate you being on the show. You've got an incredible background, incredible history. Could you share a little bit more with our audience?
Sure. As a child, being in school was tough. And I think this journey kind of leads us to the moment where I was about the second semester of college and I dropped out. I just knew it wasn't for me and it was really difficult to focus. I was always a fast learner. I picked up concepts really quickly, but at the pace of speed and then the volunteer aspect of college, I just couldn't do it. And so after that, I always knew that I was good at games, and my brother ended up winning a really big poker tournament in 2004. This is when poker started to boom. And so he won a tournament of 1.4 million and being a young kid and brash. And I just said, oh, if he could do it, I could do it. And I picked up the game really quickly. So even though I'm not supposed to be playing poker at that time, I'm about 19 years old and I played poker professionally until I was about 26 years old. I played all over the world. I played some of the highest cash games in the world has to offer and never really did the tournament circuit. But around 25, 26, I really started to understand where I wanted to be in the future. I really understood how I wanted my life to play out. And I think one thing about poker that's so beautiful, it teaches you, it's actually quite forces you to think long term and think what is the best expected value of your time. And I knew that even though I was doing really well, I was making really good money, I was making, probably higher than a lot of CEOs make. I knew it wouldn't take me where I wanted to be, combined with the lifestyle that I wanted. So really, quite literally, I had to take 5 steps backward, go and intern for somebody that I knew and work for free for several months just to learn how to do real estate investing because I knew that I wanted to get into real estate. Flipped my first home when I was 26 or 27 in Las Vegas. Quickly thereafter, started flipping homes, started scaling the business, and I did about close to 40, 50, you count any of the joint ventures. Moved to Los Angeles, did one flip in Los Angeles, realized I was a very small fish in a much larger ocean now compared to Las Vegas. And then I saw an opportunity to land up construction on a path of progression. And I was there a little bit earlier than most. And so I bought all the land that I could, took all the money that I had, and I went and bought all these pieces and parcels of land. And I started developing land on hillside, which I had never done before, but I just learned it, which was really fruitful. Did that close to 5 years, transitioned into multifamily. I did that close to about a year until I found the power of mobile home parks. And then fast forward, I saw this opportunity again, kind of like I did with that land, and kind of went in head first and created Evoke Capital because I wanted to seize on the opportunity that I think is only going to be around the next 5 to 7 years for the equity that we can build into some of these mobile home parks. And then here we are today, learning how to scale the business, learning how to grow the business, and all the challenges that come with it. But it's also really fun as well.
Outstanding. I love that journey.
Yeah.
And so you've been through a heck of a journey so far. How do you define success today?
Having time to do what you want. Success is you it changes in every season. So I like the word that you used today. I mean, as you know, we spoke about it a little bit before this podcast started. I just had newborn twins. They're 6 months old. The fact that I can provide for my family and the fact that I can go home earlier. For example, the other day, my mom was visiting from Paris, where she lives, and she was meeting the kids for the first time. I was able to go home earlier to go to see that happen, right? Success is, for me, is time, because time is the most important commodity that I think we ever have. And I think once you start to understand that time becomes the most important thing, money easily becomes a notched below everything else. And so success to me is, and if we're using terms of monetary, money is just a tool, in my opinion, now to A, make more money, and B, to buy time and convenience. And that's what I define as success.
And so if you step back, how did you define success as you were coming out at 19 years old, becoming a professional poker player, et cetera?
I'm going to tell an embarrassing story, but why not? So when I was 19, 20 years old, defined success as somebody that was in the nightclub, being able to spend $5,000, $10,000 like they didn't care. I tattooed the words discipline and power, but I have to call myself out. Power to me back then meant you have money to go to a club and people have respect for you and you can. And I quickly realized as I got older, that was a really asinine way to look at power, because what I learned now as power is about leadership and it's empowering other people, and money doesn't bring you anything. And the people who would give you respect when you have money are not the people that I personally ever want to be around anyways. I got those tattoos removed, by the way. The discipline part was really something I worked on. I really liked it. I just didn't like the placement of it. But discipline was a really big component in my life where I had to really train myself to be as disciplined as I am now. When you're young and playing poker and you're in the fast life, my one thing that I would say is I was never the best poker player, but I had the most discipline outside of the poker table. And I knew it was discipline that was going to get me to where I wanted to be in life. So success back then really meant, being able to have money and do whatever you want, but getting respect from people. And I just realized now, like, wow, like, what an asinine way to think.
But part of that journey is all about enlightenment and growth and hopefully gaining some wisdom through that journey as well. And it sounds like you did really well on that front and still transitioned from incredible success in one field into incredible success in another field.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. You know, there's certain things, for example, in childhood that I'm like, why am I always this way? And I would be insecure about it. But I think one of my greatest superpowers now is I'm always trying to better myself. And so when people tell me, hey, I'm really hard on myself and I shouldn't be hard on myself, I say, well, whoa, 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 hold on. You shouldn't be one way or the other ever, really, right? You should always be a work in progress. Being hard on yourself gives you the insight of what you want to improve on. Now, if you go to the extreme of being hard on yourself, where you never enjoy anything and you abuse yourself mentally, that's not okay, right? So I am incredibly hard on myself, but I know how to fuse it with compassion and love at the same time. But it is my indicator to grow. So when you have that as a child and you have these certain things, but as you grow up and you have more wisdom around it, you learn how to swim with it better and you use it as an indicator to get to where you want to be.
I love that. What a wonderful story. And you've already started to allude to this, but these journeys are not easy journeys. And
No.
and there's always at least one or two memories of challenges that we've got out there. What are one or two of your top challenges and what lessons can you pass along to our audience from them?
Let me ask you, personally or business or both?
One of each.
I think business number one was my biggest challenge and learning was partnership. And there's two fronts on there. One is I always wanted to do it on my own. I was my own wolf pack, right? I didn't want to allow anybody else into it. I wanted to make all the decisions. Only when I learned that if I want to get to where I want to get, you have to partner with people who are much better than you in other aspects of business. That's like the beautiful part about partnership. The second front is in business, I had picked a partner where I thought it would be really successful, but I picked him because we were family and I didn't vet him as I should, and he didn't operate the way I wanted to operate. He operated where he wanted to cut corners in some of our deals, and I wasn't for that, and created a lot of conflict, right? I'm very much, let's just do it right the first time so we don't ever have to go and redo it later on. And also, I let him pick some of our vendors, which later on I had to clean up their work. So I had to go back and respend all the money. So I didn't vet him. Right? I'll never micromanage a partner or tell them what to do, because that's why you're partners. But I didn't vet him correctly up front. Personally, I think it's difficult, but it has to be fusing all the aspects of emotional intelligence with what you want in life. And so I'm going to get a little abstract here, but I think one of the things that I did, at least, is I started at a different question for myself of what I wanted to do in the future. So as I was growing business and what I wanted to do in business, I always start off with the question is, well, a lot of people talk about, what are you passionate about? What are you talented about? I found out that I want to fix problems that my brain is attracted to. And so, because I can be really passionate about something, and I have a bunch of ideas, and I have a whole long notes list of 10,000 business ideas, right? Because it's just fun. And I could be passionate about all of them, but it's like, what problem does my brain want to like fixate on every single day? And I always knew I wanted to be in the people business. I wanted to be in the customer service business, and I wanted to be helping people in some way, shape, or form. So I figured that out first. And then I realized, how can I scale that into what else I'm passionate about? I'm in real estate. So what I was doing in development really wasn't doing that. I was building a house, I was selling it. Cool. I put a family in an awesome house. But with what I'm doing in mobile home communities and the way we have our standards here at Evoke Capital, we really do treat our tenants like gold, even though I think everyone says it, as they should. But I do know that there's a lot of slumlords out there. So there's that. And then I'm also helping investors. And my greatest joy is when an investor who's never invested before comes to me and say, thank you so much. I can't believe this just works this way. It's one of my greatest joys and greatest passions that I have. But I had to fuse my brain with my passions and with what I'm successful at and talented at. So that was a journey in itself. And people see failures. And so I would do one thing. For example, I would be flipping homes, and then I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Man, that kind of feels like a failure. Like, why did I spend so many years on it? And then I did development, only to realize, man, this is really cool. I love this aspect of it, but my brain is just really bored. It could take 3 weeks for one decision from Los Angeles department. And so it was just about fusing all aspects of my life into something that I'm really passionate about, and how I can grow, and how to fuse that all the time. It's like, there's always just like this dance that's always happening within myself.
What I gather from that is balancing that drive to move forward with the desire to pay back, so to speak, to give to others, to impact positively others, as well as you seem like a person that's just got a tremendous amount of drive and goals always sitting in front of you. As you indicated, you don't like to really sit still and move forward. So it requires that constant dance between the passion you have to move forward and the passion that you've got to really provide a positive impact on the world around you.
You said it correctly, and I think it's a beautiful way to put, like, this is why I love being an entrepreneur, because we just solve problems. That's all we do. And I think, for me at least, what's been successful is that I'll fuse my goal with whatever I have, with what I want to be fixated on, combined with what's the lifestyle I want to have above that. And what becomes your priority? Is it the business and just a monetary goal, or is it the lifestyle with the monetary goal? And then it's a puzzle piece. And I'll give some examples here. So I find that a lot of entrepreneurs want to go and scale, right? And the only way that they could scale is that they need to start understanding that their time value conversation. They need to remove themselves so that they can clone themselves. And so one thing that I always find is that entrepreneurs don't want to delegate as fast as they should be delegating. And so for me, I want to build a business, or I want to do X, Y, and Z, but I want to protect the lifestyle where I'm a father first, and I get to be home for any moment that I want my children. I don't want to miss any plays, and et cetera, et cetera. But I still want to scale my business at a level where my brain is satisfied at. And that is a very large problem to solve on both fronts. But for me, I always look at the long term, kind of talking about what we were talking about with the poker previously, right? I think long term. So I have no problem of coming out of pocket a little bit more short term to build something better for the long term while protecting my lifestyle at the same time. And that's the entrepreneur spirit, is you get to figure out how to do what you want with your priorities in hand.
Love it. Love it. So innovation. How do you leverage innovation today to help drive your business success?
So technology, I think that's the first one. I think something that we do that's pretty unique is I learn from a lot of really important founders and CEOs. And I think at the end of the day, it's our job as CEOs to make people happy. And what I mean by that is my job really at the end of the day is just to make people happy. My tenants, my customers, my employees. So I always will check in with the employees and say, hey, what's your biggest problem? What's my blind spot? You're on the day to day. How can I make your life better? And so we just leveraged a technology stack here at Evoke Capital, where we built out a system called Oncoda, where it is quite literally our task management. It is our SOPs. It is our Wikipedia, and it's eliminated about 70% of the emails, roughly, give or take 10% on each side. Because now if I would create a task for a certain property, I can shoot it over to our regional, who then can make their notes and then shoot it over to anyone, and it just automatically gets pinged. And so there is no more emails, and everyone knows what they're accountable for, what they need to get done. And also on every single property, it's kind of like a Monday.com, where you have a checklist of everything that you have to do. So that took a lot of time to set up and a lot of resources to set up. And taking a whole organization and putting them onto a new system is troubling at first. And there's some people we had to drag across the finish line, but we just came out of that, and everyone now loves it. And they've saved so much work. And now the productivity of all the employees have shot up, and the employee satisfaction has shot up as well too. So it's always that, but also as we grow, I think the focus is how do we become more cost effective so that we could pass that on to our investors and to everybody else. I really love the Jeff Bezos models, the Walmart models. It's so fascinating to me that I don't think enough people realize that the more you do for your people, the more you'll receive back. We live in such an abundance, and it really is true. That's all Jeff Bezos did, is how do I make it cheaper for my customers? That's it. And that's what drove everybody. But whenever you get money involved and you get human nature involved, people get greedy. And again, this is why it's so beautiful. Business is so beautiful, because I can see something that somebody else doesn't see. That's why poker was amazing. I get to capitalize on other people's mistakes, right? And so I can gain quote unquote market share or investor loyalty or whatever by just doing right by people and my tenants as well. So it's fun. Business is fun.
I absolutely love it. And I've been through a lot of different organizations, industries, et cetera. And the fact that you spent time putting in a new system sounds like you really developed it right. You took the time to set it up, but it is a resource intensive and a time intensive process, right?
Yeah. We took one of our top employees, in the leadership, who's just essentially became full-time dedicated to this, because it's a living organism. As we grow, it needs to grow as well. We hired a consultant to build it out for us, but they don't know our business intimately. Right. Even though they sat in our company for about 4 months on all of our meetings and gave them all the documents, they still don't know our business at the end of the day. So
exactly,
it's always taking constant growth, but always making sure you're investing on the infrastructure, investing on systems to save time at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's easy to calculate the benefits and the savings and the productivity and the morale, et cetera, when those are built out completely.
Oh, for sure.
Built out properly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We can talk about that. I've got so many experiences in that area.
Yeah.
So innovation in the future, where do you see it taking you?
Do you mean in my company itself, or do you mean in like real estate overall?
Generally your company, but that's a subset of real estate.
I think I'm always going to keep an eye on if I can vertically integrate any part of my business. I'm going to. The part about my business is it's essentially a tried and true model, right? And I will tell you, I think the biggest innovation that could happen inside the realm that I play in, and I hope it happens, is that the innovation comes from technology about building tiny homes or building 3D printed homes or building prefab homes, because there is no good solution for low income housing. There's not. And so this is a market trend I love for my business, but as a human, I want people to be able to have homes and a good place to live. So I hope the innovation comes. Almost a realist for technology to come and take over and be able to build it at scale and to create a monetary successful model around it is going to take at least 10 years. And then it's going to take at least another 5 years to be adopted. So I have some runway in my company. I'm good with that. But I think that's where the biggest innovation is going to come in is technology. But at the end of the day, my company itself, we focus on land and homes. And at the end of the day, it's all about how do we get better at solving tenants' problems faster? And then how do we grow the organization without any problems? I will say I don't see a ton of innovation happening with that.
Yeah, not
But
necessarily
who,
at scale.
yeah,
Well,
not necessarily scale.
what you just talked about, though, really is my definition of innovation: people, process, and technology wrapped by a culture, an environment that allows and drives win-win-win outcomes, one for the customer, one for the business, and one for the people that are all part of that.
Yeah,
And I'll even take something you said earlier. You mentioned the fact that you had a vendor challenge. Well, I look for strategic partners. Vendors are transactional.
it's
And
true.
strategic partners is overused term by vendors who want to be your strategic partner, that want a long-term commitment financially from you. But that partnership is really a collaborative effort to help them drive what they're doing and how they're doing it to better impact and enable your business,
Yep,
while at the same time they're garnering insights from you and your business to help them in their roadmap and how they move forward to help a broader client base. But
yep,
coming up with that, they become part of that last win for the people. So it's win for your staff and win for all those strategic partners that are helping and enable your business and your overall business vision and success.
yeah. I think you said that beautifully. And when you just hire a vendor just to hire a vendor or a consultant and they don't have any skin in the game or alignments of interest, it's never just going to be done the way that you would like it to get done. Right now, I'm very grateful to say that a lot of the vendors that we work with are people who we've known for a long time, invest with us, and we invest with them and we help them grow and we give referrals. So it is an actual strategic partnership in that sense. Yeah.
Standing. Final takeaway for our audience. If there was one thing you would say, entrepreneur, business owner, leader out there, that you really should consider as part of your journey to success, what would that be?
I think if you ask me when we're just starting out, it's about how to scale and how to delegate. And I think once you get to a certain point, and I'm not large by any means, we have about 25, 26 full-time employees right now. What I have learned, which I think is the greatest lesson, is I'm in my position as CEO is just to make people happy. And they will always, like, it's human nature when you ask somebody, they will always tell you how to improve their lives. They will always tell you how to improve their jobs. And at the end of the day, just listen. Go and interview everyone and listen. And then you get to fuse what everyone is saying with what is the biggest need at the company. And then just do it. Right. And what I've also learned is just being super transparent. Hey, this is what we're working on, just so you know. I have to work on this first. Then I'm going to work on this. And then I can get to this later. But it's coming, I promise. Right. I hear you. And I think that's been an incredible morale boost inside of our company. And plus, I would say I'm probably the dumbest person that I know. So I rely on everybody else to tell me on how to just help them because they will. And so that's essentially my job as CEO. And if you just listen, you will get a wealth of information and then they will respect you for it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for that message.
of course.
Any final thoughts for our audience?
No, no, don't play poker.
I want to thank you all for joining us today, and a special thank you to our incredible guest, Pasha Esfandiary, for sharing his insights, experiences, and success tactics with us. We hope this conversation has left you inspired and motivated to embrace the challenges of entrepreneurship with vigor, innovation, and adaptability. Remember, success comes in many forms, and it's essential to define it for yourself. However, take the lessons shared by Pasha to heart as you navigate your own entrepreneurial journey. Embrace change, seek out opportunities for growth, and always be willing to adapt to the ever-evolving landscape of business. Thank you once again to our phenomenal guest speaker, Pasha Esfandiary, and thank you all for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time as we continue exploring the stories behind incredible entrepreneurs. Stay resilient, stay innovative, and have a wonderful day, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me.